Today on the channel, we fly into the night with another G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. This time, we got Chip, Raptor Talon, and General Ledger.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another G.I. Joe Classified Series unboxing and review. And today, we got one of my all-time favorites, if you can believe it. We got Chip, Raptor Talon, and General Ledger. But for all your Chip, Raptor Talon, General Ledger needs, and a whole lot more, make sure you hit up DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order, and that's exactly what I did. Got this from DJC Collectibles, so head on over there. Gotta get a deal, as one may say. But Chip, Raptor Talon, he was just Raptor for me as a little kid, playing with my Joes, and it's probably an unpopular opinion, maybe not, sound off in the comments down below. But I was a kid, of course, watching G.I. Joe from an early age, but I was a little bit older, I understood it a little bit more, maybe, I don't know what you want to call it, during the Serpentor age. Now, the Serpentor age, of course, in the cartoons, even the comic books, but also the toy lines. And Raptor came a little bit when I was getting into the playing days a little bit more. Instead of just being a kid chewing on your toys and things like that, I was diving in and I was learning the backstories, learning the history, and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't mind what was going on with the Joe brand, the Nemesis Enforcers of the world, of course, the Crystal Balls, and the Raptor. Some of the more sci-fi, kind of strange elements to the Joes was fine for little Kyle, where people that were a little older than me, I don't think were into that very much. But I remember the first time ever seeing Raptor at a Children's Palace store. Shout out to Children's Palace back in the day. It was like a Toys R Us, basically, what it was like. But I'll never forget seeing Raptor there, and Crystal Ball, another one I mentioned earlier. Just a new wave of Cobra villainy is what it was. And he caught me from the get-go. I said, who's this guy dressed as a bird with feathers? This is a guy I want to play with. And that's exactly what happened. Always enjoyed the old figure. Hopefully, we'll enjoy the new figure. But there's only one way to find out. We're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there, and I believe on the back of his file card in his old school figure, also in the comic books, they talked about him being into taxes. He was basically a tax guy who kind of went a little bit mad, started to get some raptors, started to train them, had them hunting and killing and stuff, and I think it was the comic books, he came across Destro. Next thing you knew, he joined up with Cobra. Just a wild thing, just absolutely wild. Like, who is this tax guy? It was just always so strange to me, but, you know, Dr. Mindbender wasn't an orthodontist, so I guess if the shoe fits, wear it. Just let you know that maybe that auto mechanic down the street, maybe it's your orthodontist or your dentist, they could be a member of Cobra. So watch out. That's my pro tip to you guys and gals out there, of course. But we do get the deluxe packaging on this one. I think originally when this was announced and kind of leaked, a long time ago, almost a year ago at this point, a lot of people thought it was going to be for San Diego Comic-Con or Hasbro Pulse Con, and none of that really did happen. However, it did go up on the sites all over the place, not a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, anything like that. It is just your standard fare, but very, very cool. Did it need to be deluxe? I guess we'll find out in here, because we remember the childhood one was for sure not a deluxe figure. Big window bubble there if you need him to sign it. Maybe he'll do your taxes for you and he'll sign your figure. You never know. Cobra logo right there. G.I. Joe. Got the names. General Ledger is apparently his Raptor's name. But looking good. 4 and up on this one for those keeping track at home. And number 139 in the G.I. Joe Classified Series. Can't believe we're already up there. Nice little glamour shot on the side. QR code action over here. And then on the back, he's flying like an eagle, or more like a raptor, I guess. Like a young Steve Miller band, really, at the end of the day. You might as well just call him Steve Miller, and that's what he's doing, flying through the sky. And he's just truly a joker. That's what we're going to say there. But plenty of jibber-jabber down low. Nothing too amazing right here, but he does look really cool. As they say in the game, very toyetic looking. But I can see some people saying, this isn't what I want out of my Joes. See you later, right off the screen, Deadeye today. Ready to go. But I can see people saying, this isn't what I want out of my Joes. And you know what they say, you got to vote with your wallet, and you like what you like, you don't what you don't. That's the way it goes, especially in the Joe game. See you later. Goodbye. And we got him locked in. Look at those wings, ready to go, ready to take flight. How about that? So we're going to cut those out, and we're going to truly see what all the fuss is about with these. Maybe a little bit big, maybe a little bit different than the last, when I say last, I'm going to go back to the old 3 3/4 days way back. I can't remember, did he have a 25th anniversary figure? He had to have. He had to have had one of those. See you later, goodbye. And I got that whole line outside of a couple crazy exclusives. But a very, very interesting thing was I think of him more with just kind of the feathered cape, and maybe that's kind of where I felt he was a little like deranged as a kid, because he didn't have technological wings like a vulture from Spider-Man is what this reminds me of here. Of course, both being Hasbro properties, for those keeping track at home. But it made you feel like, man, he's insane. He's got a big cape that looks like a raptor, and he's going to be flopping that thing, and he's going to fly. He's going to jump off a cliff and think he can fly. It's kind of how I thought in my childhood brain. But this one, a whole nother level here with the wings that spread out. Very nice here. You got hinge back and forth right there. You do get the side-to-side hinge there, side-to-side hinge there. Very cool. Plugs in like a traditional Joe backpack. Gotta say, I've had the Vulture. I've had a couple of Vultures, if I'm not mistaken, from the Marvel Legends with kind of a gimmick like this. We've also seen Captain America Sam Wilson. Gotta say, the Joe team did it best. This feels really good, where some of those kind of fall apart, being a Build-A-Figure, things like that along those ways. This really, really works. And I love the sculpted in feathers, you know, on here. Makes it feel mechanical, but also brings it back to that bird-like. Truly, I guess, a really good transition from the regular 3 3/4 line into the classified line is how this one feels to me. So I really do like that. So kudos to them on there. And there's old Chip Talon. What a crazy name, Chip. His name kind of reminds me like he should be like the little brother in like a 50s or 60s sitcom or something like that. And who knows, maybe that's what he was. And he was like a young cousin Oliver over there on the old Brady Bunch days. Lost his mind and just said, enough of this. Enough of this. I'm going to a life of madness. I'm not going to be this tax guy. I'm not going to be this child actor anymore. I'm going to kill some Joes and other people and do some taxes along the way. Maybe that's what he ended up saying. One will never know. One will never know, because you'll never catch him alive. You'll never catch him alive. That's my guess. Can I get all these weapons out here? Well, that's the million-dollar question. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. Bear with it. See you later. Goodbye, a bad see you later. Can't all be winners. Can't all be winners, but looking good here. Going to dive into these accessories first. Now, we do get a little knife. We've seen little knives before. Silver blade at the top, black on the handle. Looking good. Looking like all you could muster to get that right into somebody. Also, butter some toast if he needs to. Get a little side piece here. We all need a little side piece from time to time. Silver at the top, black down here. Really, really cool. He's going to bang off, fire a couple things. If his wings don't work, his raptor doesn't work, he's going to be after it there. We do get these claws. Did we see these with Storm Shadow, if I'm not mistaken? I could be getting stuff wrong. Very ninja-like weapon here. Always think to Wolverine, of course, when you see 3 claws like this. But looking good for a guy named Raptor. Of course, those raptor claws are going to grab a mouse or a raccoon or something. We know how that all goes. All in black here, looking very nice. I believe reuse, maybe not though. Sound off in the comments below. And now we get General Ledger, looking a little bit plain, I will say, General Ledger. Kind of reminds me of Freedom a little bit. I don't know if there was any reuse from that. I don't think so. I don't think there's any reuse, but he is a little raptor, and he's got one of those like headdresses over the top of the raptor, kind of like they do with horses sometimes. But he's got the hood over his head. I think that makes him, you know, more docile and slow down and not go somewhere. But looking good, and it looks like he will perch somewhere along the way. I don't know, we'll find it throughout the glamour shots, but he's got a little peg right there. Oh, found it already. Goes right into the forearm here, so you can peg him on the forearm, and I think we saw that same thing with Polly and Freedom, if I'm not mistaken. I think we can peg both of those on there, but pegs right on the arm. Looks really good. You got to have a raptor with a guy named Raptor. And you guys know me as a kid, you probably were the same way. If a Joe came with an animal, he was a definite pickup, because you felt like you were getting 2 characters for one. At least that's what I always felt. And that's how I feel to this day. That's how I feel. But now we're getting down to business here. We got old Chip Raptor Talon. He kind of reminds me of my boy Flint, and that's a good guy to be compared to here. He looks a little bit like Flint in the face. It looks like Flint like grew his hair out and slicked it all back, put it down to kind of like a mullet back there and shaved the sides. really looks a lot like that Flint figure. I don't know about that little bandit mask there, like a young Lone Ranger. He might lose me with that one a little bit, but it is on brand for him, of course. But a good head sculpt, and I really like the hairdo on him. It's different than any other Joe we've had, or Cobra member, of course, so that looks good. Now, he does have a helmet, a hat, a pelt. I don't know what we call it here, but you got the, I guess it's a raptor. I was going to say eagle, but I assume raptor. You know what happens, you assume, though. We got the big beak in the front, the 2 beady eyes. Matches the feathers, you know what I mean, on his vest right here. Smooth transition to that. Looks very, very cool. This figure actually beat my expectations. I thought it looked cool, but it is a lot better in hand than I was anticipating to be, which is always a good sign. I really do like the head sculpt on that. Of course, the mean mugging face always adds a lot to a Cobra guy. Vest we talked about with the feathers. Now, are these painted on or are they actually tattoos? Did he take that extra mile when he was doing taxes and got some of these tattoos on his bicep, his chest, his back, his arms? Real wild if that's the case, but you know, to each their own with their tattoos. They tell a story, as they do say, and I think there's some tax code maybe pushed into there as well. But you got to watch out for these tax guys too. You never know what they might be up to. They're always, some of them walk the fine line of the law, as we do know, and I'm guessing Raptor walks that fine line, of course. Getting down into the forearms, we talked about the forearm guards right here looking nice. Of course, both of them both of them you can plug in. General Ledger, quite the name for a Raptor. You do get 2 trigger hands on him here, no extra hands, anything like that with this figure. Now, he just got a little holster, a little part of the side kind of moving around, but you can store his weapon there. What about the knife? Can we store the knife? Is there a spot for the knife? Yes, there is on the back of the thigh here, so you can store the knife on him. Love to be able to store everything on the figure. We know how we like that with our Joes. Beautiful belt right here. I guess, once again, probably a Raptor on his belt, looking nice. A little bit of feathers sticking out on his shin guards here. You got those big boots with the shin guards. And if I'm not mistaken right here, yep, Mike Piazza editions. Usually Terry Steinbach, but we're seeing a little shift in the wind. Mike Piazza shin guards. So shout out to Oakland A's legend Mike Piazza, known for his time in the Oakland A's, I think. I don't know if he played for any other teams, but Oakland A's legend Mike Piazza. I do like the little talon feet down here on the top of the boots for him. Just an extra, bringing it all home. If you go full Raptor, you go full Raptor. You don't go halfway if you're turned into a Raptor. You go all the way. It's just what you do. You follow through and you stick with the plan. And that's what he did right here. You do get the side thighs here. You got some pockets sculpted in. Nothing really to write home about. Now, arms, of course, go all the way around for us. Little bit of butterfly shoulder in there, bicep cut. Double jointed pinless elbows. You know I'm here for that one. Hands back and forth, side to side. Head back and forth, side to side. I think, yep, we get neck articulation in him as well. Ab crunch, waist back and forth, looking good. The helmet goes on and off, very nice. I do like that. Big old splits if you need it. If you're a Raptor, you better be doing those splits. So, of course, drop down hips, G.I. Joe style. Leg does go up. Thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees once again. You got those boot cuts in there. Ankles back and forth, side to side, up and down. All the articulation you could ever want for our boy Raptor right here. And then, of course, this just plugs right into his back. And he's ready to fly. Like a young Steve Miller. And the Steve Miller Band is what he's ready to do. Not too shabby piece of business. I could see people displaying him on their flight stand in their collection. For me, I'll probably fold him up and just kind of have him sitting there with his wings ready to go. But I actually like the character and the look of the character even without the backpack. The backpack is just kind of like an extra little bonus accessory to me because the figure is so cool and feels really cool in hand here. And I assume he's going to fit on a Mattel Ringside collectible stand. Once again, use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. He is ready to go. He's ready to do some taxes if he needs to. But he better be careful because we know there's a guy that'll keep him honest in his tax work. It is IRS. So you got to watch out for that. You might display these guys together if you need to. Makes all the sense. Nobody likes a tax cheat. That's what Erwin R. Shyster will say. But everybody does love a Flint, as we know. The true leader of G.I. Joe. Don't give me that Duke nonsense you guys always try to do. Nobody can explain why Duke is a better leader. They always say, it's General Hawk, Duke, then Flint. Yeah, we saw that, and Flint's going to be the first to tell you, I'm not the leader. Guys, I'm not the leader of anything. I'm just a soldier doing his job. And that's what a true leader would say. They're not going to say, well, I'm in charge of you. I'm Duke. I'm in charge of you. Why don't you go do some KP stuff? I'm going to keep my feet up and I'm going to read, RC Car Monthly or something like that. Who knows what Duke's up to in his spare time. But Flint's like, okay, guys, I'll help you clean the locker rooms. I'll do that because you know what? He's a team player and he leads by example, and that's what we want out of a real leader. But nobody can tell me why Duke is a real leader. They can tell me, oh, Duke, getting almost everybody killed, all that kind of stuff. We know all that, but what is Duke a good leader for? He doesn't think. He doesn't think like Flint. I could go on for days, folks. I could go on for days, and I won't. But Raptor, A+. Love this figure. Beat my expectations. That's always a good thing right here at the table. Strongly recommended. DJC Collectibles. That's where I picked up mine. Grab yours over there. Use discount 8 off DJC to save 8%. But there it is. Raptor, what's your thoughts? You here for this one? A pickup, a pass, long game, no game? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day. Of course, Patreon early access to all the videos from both of my YouTube channels. All kinds of bonus stuff over there. Check it out. Support the channel. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget social media. SirPaul64 on the X. The _Kyle_Peterson on Threads. And on Instagram. So for General Ledger and Raptor and the true leader of G.I. Joe, Flint and IRS2, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.